Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Sarah Overbooked and I am Sarah. Today we are doing our weekly update for July 29th through August 4th. I'm a little late. It is what it is. The first book that I finished in this week, it was Untold Tales of I Hate Fairyland. I talked about this in my last weekly update. It is short stories in the I Hate Fairyland series. I read the first 4 of the series. I enjoyed them. There's 2 more which I still need to find so that I can read. Basically, I Hate Fairyland is the story of a 7-year-old that wishes that she could go to Fairyland and gets transported there. She has to complete a quest before she can go home. Unfortunately, she is unable to complete that quest in 30-some years, so she's still in Fairyland, still in a 7-year-old body, and she hates it. Book number 2 that I finished this past week was Nora Rabbit's Year One. It's the first in the Chronicles of the One trilogy, so obviously there is a one trope in there. It was good. Good start to a trilogy. It's basically a pandemic comes to the world. It wipes out over half of the entire population, and of those that survive, a portion of them, not everybody, develops gifts. They become what is called now the uncanny. They are witches and wizards and fairies and elves, shapeshifters, etc. This book is basically following a couple groups of people doing whatever it is that they have to do to continue living in this world that they now have to live in. One of those groups contains husband and wife who they are pregnant, and the baby is special. The baby is the one. Book ends at the one being born. Do plan on continuing the series, so we'll see if it continues to keep my attention. The third book that I read this week is Paradise Rot. Now, what I said in my last update was I knew nothing about the book, but it was plant horror. It is not plant horror. Nope, I got that wrong. It is weird. It's a short story about 2 women, well, mostly one college student who just moved to a new country. The country is a country that does not speak her native language, so she's out of sorts. She's feeling everything extra. All her senses seem to be completely heightened. When she finds a place to live, it's in a abandoned brewery that was converted into apartments with a roommate who is Kitty. Strange, to say the least. Its story follows their relationship as well as their relationship with one of the neighbors. It's about rot, as the title says. Everything around her starts to rot. There's a lot of urine. It's weird. A lot of people like it. A lot of people think it's a really in-depth, beautiful story. I didn't get it. I'm probably just not smart enough to get it. I don't know. I didn't get it. It was weird. I'm not a big short story fan, so that probably didn't help it along. But it was weird. I don't see myself recommending that one. And the last book that I read that week is an ARC. I don't know if you, there you go. They Thought They Buried Us by Noniqua Ramos. Hopefully I said that correctly. This is a YA horror. Didn't really like this one either. The beginning seemed pointless. They were giving a ton of information that didn't really play out in the story. It was long, it was rambling. I pushed through because it's an ARC, so had to write a review, which I did today because I didn't want to, because I didn't like it. But the middle of the story was good. Our protagonist had made it to boarding school that they got into. Even though they didn't want to go, their family sent them. And as soon as they got there, they started having weird dreams. So the dreams ended up being memories of somebody else. Structure of the school was off, where anybody in work-study was worked to death. They had no extra time. It was get up, work for hours, go to class for hours, get home, had just enough time to eat, and then go work more. Barely have enough time to get sleep or homework done. Students were set into two different classes, those that could afford it and those that couldn't. And so it had some good discussions in there, but the ending completely lost me. I'm not gonna explain why, because that'll kind of ruin the story, and this being a YA, that could also be part of the reason why I didn't really like it, because not a young adult, not my demographic. That could be part of it, but there's magical realism in this story, and what the author did at the end ramped up that magical realism to such a level that did not match any other part of the story. It was just out of place. Also, what they decided to do with the very end of the book completely lost me. It was like they had different ideas of how to end it and couldn't really choose, so they just shoved it all in, and it was all one. So I didn't like it. So those were the 4 books that I read in the week of July 29th to August 4th. These weekly reading updates are now going to just be quick reviews of the books that I read in the week. I don't see a point of telling you what I'm reading now, since next week, hopefully, they'll be on the next one, or what I'm going to read in the future, because it might change. So this is it for this week. I read 4 books. I liked 2. So I recommend Untold Tales of I Hate Fairyland. I recommend Year 1. The others will just stay there. Thank you for clicking on the video. Stop down and say hi in the chat below, and I'll see you next week.